and Travel and Things in association with Ruggedwear, Real People, Real Clothing, Real Solutions present In Conversation With. I'm your host, David Batsoffen, and my guest today from Ruggedwear, funny that, is their MT. It's Howard Rogerson. Howard, good morning. Welcome to you.
Good morning, David, and a huge thank you for the opportunity and the privilege of chatting to you this morning. It's always good. It's always good.
It's morning, always fun to chat to you.
Yes.
And you seem to be dressed for not the same weather that I'm dressed for, although I am wearing Ruggedwear, but I am wearing a Ruggedwear top because it's cold in Johannesburg.
So in the Lowveld at the moment, we have glorious sunshine. It's warm. It's a lovely spring day. But my sense is, and the news tells us, that that's going to change during the course of the day. So by this evening, I think we're going to be dressed the same as you. Yeah. But thank you for wearing the brand. It's always a good thing. It's
only a pleasure. Howard, just the sort of purpose of today's chat was to talk to you about the new range, the summer range. What is it with checks and plaids? This is not really bushwear. This is more sort of, as your thing says, or as your ad says, cool, casual, and comfortable. So
it's been for us an interesting 18 months in which we've introduced a total of over 30 brand new styles in new fabrics and yeah, so completely new ranges where we've revamped the ladies range, the men's range, and we've just done a lot of exciting things. And we've just found that because of our growth within the safari hospitality industry, so retail industry has also got their head around the brand and have wanted products within the retail industry.
Okay.
And there is still a massive demand for checks. So people love checks. They love them for the summer months.
They also love the Spaniards and the French and the Belgian, but checks are the top of the list.
You're too sharp this morning, David, for a Friday morning. But yeah, they're great fabrics. They wash well, they wear well, they're cool. And yeah, we can't keep up with them. So that's a good thing. Yeah.
I was somewhere yesterday, and for the life of me, I was at a store in Cresta, and there was a fellow there wearing what was sort of a light blue shirt. And I happened to notice that it had a Ruggedwear label attached. I was going to try and take a sneaky photograph, but he didn't look like the type who would take to that kindly.
So you need to be very careful taking photographs in public, David, but I think you're aware of that. You might just get dealt with. The light blue is part of our fishing range, which we call the mark. So it dries easy. So for the guys who think they are really top class fishermen, it's effectively created for the fishing industry. So whether you are or you fly fishing or whatever the case may be, it's got all the little add-ons and all the little bits and pieces, and it's a moisture management fabric. So it dries quickly. It's yeah. And it comes in a number
about that because there was a little emblem of what looked like possibly could have been a trout or something like that, just above the breast pocket.
Correct, and that's on a little Velcro tab. So the guys who are fly fishermen clip their rod in that little tab while they're eating their fly and doing all the little bits and pieces and what have you. And so the rod doesn't fall in the water and get washed away and all those sorts of things. But yeah, it's a little trout.
You're very sneaky. Are you a fisherman that you know these little tricks and tips?
David, if I go near the water, I only frighten the fish because I end up throwing and never come back. So I'm not a fisherman, so I stay away from that. I'm not a hunter, but I love the bush. I love nature, and yeah, so that's where the passion comes from.
So just expanding from that, then, Howard, is it possible that you'd put a loop? An extra loop on the shorts or the long pants for your bush range, so that guys who are carrying rifles, if they stop, they can put the barrel of the rifle into that loop, so they've got their hands free to use binoculars or cameras.
So what you brought up is a very, very important point that you're raising there. as I've mentioned, we brought in 31 new styles over the last 18 months, and every single one of those styles we have developed in conjunction with professionals within the industry. So whether it's the new rifle handling shirt that we've done in conjunction with James Stein, or whether it's the ladies range that we've done in conjunction with Taylor McCurdy and Lauren Arthur, we always rely heavily on our customer base's feedback on what it is that they actually want in the garments. Right. They wear the garments. They are out there in the field doing it, and they know what works for them and what doesn't work for them. We as manufacturers often think we know better than the people who wear our garments, and we don't. So we rely heavily on feedback from the market, and we do take it seriously. So even the reinforcing on the pockets of the men's trousers, because the guys often wear pocket knives and that sort of thing, we've realized that that's important. The actual fit of the garment, the type of fabrics we use, everything is built around the feedback that we get from the people who we are selling to. Okay. Guide of the year, the guys were wearing our new cotton stretch ripstop, and the early morning bushwalks, the grass was still nice and wet, and the bottom of the trousers got wet. 5 minutes back in camp and the trousers were dry. And so those are important things to them. The last thing is a heavy weight cotton, and it takes until midday for those things to dry. That's really uncomfortable. So it's all those little things. So certainly, I will speak to the guys who are walking in the bush with rifles and find out how, what can be different that works. Okay. So it's a great.
Just thinking, when you say heavy cotton, do you remember the old Barathea blazers? That's not what you want to be wearing out in the bush.
No. And hence those guys who fought in the early wars of the sort of 19th century or the 20th century, I don't know how they did it. Yeah, no, they didn't.
That was just as an aside, that was the issue with the British when they arrived here in South Africa for the Anglo-British wars, because they left Britain in the winter, got here in summer in those sort of clothes that were not suited for this. So they almost boiled to death in their uniforms. But that's another story for another time. So moving on, finally here. And when I say finally here, I mean finally here in this house is my pair of these Ruggedwear Ranger boots. So talk to me about this, because there's a story behind these boots and what you hope to achieve with the sales of them.
Yeah. So for a long time, I've wanted to add footwear to our range. We've never had our own brand of footwear. We've always sold other brands. And I've just felt Ruggedwear had sort of matured to the point where it needed its own range of footwear.
And for those who can't see, there is Ruggedwear on the label, on the boot.
There we go. Now that boot, that leather boot, is geared specifically for the field rangers. So it's got what they call a bellows tongue, which means the tongue actually is sealed into the outer of the boot, so that you don't end up with little bits of sand and little stones and whatever in your boot while you're out walking, which then becomes really uncomfortable and whatever.
Yeah.
So and it's also based on the sole. Everything is based on the feedback that we've got from rangers in the field who've said they need this type of sole, they need that type of thing, and it's been tested in the field quite a lot before we finally decided on it. The other pair is also a pair of normal falcons as well, but it's really a great quality. The quality on everything matches the rest of the quality of our range, and it's absolutely superb. The other thing for us that was important is that, like the rest of our uniform solution range, from front office to back of house to field guides to workers in the garden, it has to be manufactured in South Africa by South Africans. So for us, that is an incredibly important thing. Yes, we could manufacture at a third of the price in a neighboring country, but that's not our vision, that's not our philosophy. And the other important thing is that for every 10 pairs that we sell, we are giving back 1 pair to the community. So we are partnering with Tourvest, we're partnering with Bushwise, who are bringing in field guides from the local communities who border on the parks, the greater parks, whether it's up at Ruggedwear, whether it's Pilanesberg, whether it's the greater Kruger. And often these youngsters arrive, and for them to go out and buy a 1,500 Rand pair of boots is impossible. Yeah. So they get issued with clothing, they get issued with uniforms, but we are also starting to give boots back to these youngsters that are going through training, through conservation training, through field guide training. And next year we will be sponsoring at least 8, where we will be kitting them out completely with clothing, with boots, with all of that. And we're going to be partnering with NJ Moore and sponsoring some of their students from the local community.
Wonderful. Well done, Howard. It just reinforces your commitment to an industry which I think has been somewhat sidelined and been seen as a gap between real jobs. And more it's being seen as being an actual profession rather than just a holiday job. But if I could go back, just when you were talking about the quality of the clothing, the area that seems to be, and it's not a slight at Ruggedwear at all, but with certain other brands, is that the collars on the shirts tend to go very quickly. And when you're sitting in a game drive vehicle behind your guide or your tracker, and you've paid an untold fortune to spend time at that lodge, and the guy's shirt is frayed and worn at the collar, it looks like he's worn it for the last 100 years. And you think to yourself, really, I'm paying all this money and they can't afford to give their rangers proper shirts to wear, or to do like an inspection every morning, and if the shirt is worn, to swap it out for a new one? Does it really cost them that much money?
I think it's one of those things where it's a case of attention to detail, and often, I mean, it's my bugbear as well, because I see it often with staff, whether it be in a restaurant, whether it be at a safari lodge or whatever. Often the clothing looks quite shabby. Yeah, and it's a reflection on the place you're staying at, or the restaurant you're eating at, or whatever the case may be. And it's often just, it's not top of mind. We always recommend to any safari lodge or whatever that you should be giving at least 3 to 4 shirts every 6 months. The harsh reality is they're wearing that shirt 2 to 3 times a week, and it's going through harsh washing conditions, and it's going through harsh sunlight and all of that. So unfortunately, that's an area that does wear. Okay. The same as it wears on the knee or on the bum, or whatever the case may be. So there are, our fabrics are all VAT dyed, so they're more resilient to the African sun. They hold their dye better, but there's also only a certain life that we can have. And cotton, being a natural fabric, tends to wear, it's a cool fabric, it's practical for the bush, but it tends to wear quicker than a polyester, which is almost a plastic-based fabric. So yes, that is one of the things, but we try and encourage them to get their guys out with enough clothing, which is good for them and good for us as well.
No doubt. Now, talk to me about this award, winner of the 22-23 Luxury Safari Magazine and Luxuria Lifestyle International 5-Star Luxury Review Awards. Wow, that's a mouthful.
You can't say that.
Envelope, please.
You can't say that. So it was reviews that were done on our range of clothing by people in the field wearing the clothing, and travel correspondents, travel writers throughout sort of Africa and throughout the world kind of thing, and who were wearing our clothing. And this is an upmarket magazine based in Europe. And yeah, out of the blue, this award came through. So we were very, very thrilled with it. They love our clothing. We sponsoring their writers. And they've been in touch with some of our brand ambassadors. So yeah, it was a nice recognition that we're heading in the right direction. And that's great.
Well done, you. Considering this brand is not sort of a nationally sold brand, and that you're sort of limited People in Nelspruit know you really, really well, but I'm not sure if the Cape Townians know of you just yet. And if they don't, they should. But now we were talking ladies and men's range. So Taylor Jane, chat to me about her range, Howard.
So Taylor McCurdy's been in the industry for a long, long time. Taylor came and chatted to us, and we chatted to Taylor about 18 months, 2 years ago. And I was desperate to lift the quality and the styling on our ladies range. And there was just a need to be able to dress female field guides in good quality clothing that was practical, that was durable, but was also feminine. And that was what it was. We didn't want the field guide wearing a shirt that looked like she took it out of her brother's cupboard or whatever the case may be. And we worked very hard on that, brought in some stretch fabrics, we brought in new designs, new styles. Taylor's got her own range, which has got the pink paw print on it, so you can easily identify that. It's been extremely well accepted. And funny enough, its biggest growth has been in the agricultural co-op markets. So people, platteland, as it were, are now wearing Taylor Jane. And they all ask us, who is Taylor Jane? So we need to take Taylor and do a trip through the sort of country so that people know who she is.
Yeah, definitely.
It's been interesting because the garments fit, they're comfortable, they're nice to wear, they're great quality. And next year we expand the range. So there'll be more exciting things coming that way.
You're bringing in Taylor Jane in two-tone, are you?
No, we're not, David.
You know that I had to go there, Howard.
Yeah, I knew you were going to go the two-tone route.
It's a given
It's
question.
got its place, but it's not in the ladies' range.
Good. We'll leave it right there. Now, going back to the range, talk to me, for people who don't know about Ruggedwear. Tell us a little bit about the background of the brand and what they can expect to find in the Ruggedwear stores.
Okay. So we come from very, very humble beginnings, and we came from a vision and an aspiration to create employment, particularly for women in the low veld. And when the company was born, there was literally the low veld employs predominantly men, and there was a desire by my late partner to create employment. And we've always stuck to that vision of employing South Africans, only manufacturing in South Africa, and going forward. And we've grown, we've been through exponential growth over the last number of years. And there's so many new and exciting things happening in the range. We continue to be a major sponsor of Safari Guide of the Year, and we absolutely love that. The stores are carrying all the new ranges, all the new styles, and we are in stores from little small independent resellers across the country to major co-ops, all the major co-op groups. I think there's now 9 co-ops which carry the Ruggedwear range. So they're in there. Specialty stores, fishing stores, outdoor stores, that sort of thing carry the range as well. And it is, my understanding is, the fastest growing South African brand at the moment. And we are grappling with the challenges of meeting those demands, which makes it interesting and adds a little bit of gray hair now and again. But we are well stocked, and we are ready to accept that challenge. So it's been a year in which obtaining fabrics has been difficult. Worldwide supply chain has not been great this year. The boats lie outside Durban port for 3 weeks before we can unload them. But our finished goods stock holding is the highest it's been in the history of the company.
Well, that's wonderful.
Now, to be able to supply, we regularly receive big orders, and we're able to pick, pack, and dispatch within 48 hours.
Because that's also important. That's also important for your customers, because they don't want to be placing huge orders, and you go, yeah, we can do that, no problem. 5 months, and then go, no, we'll just go to an opposition brand that makes in Asia or somewhere, and we can deal with the ramifications of that. But it's good to know that you're able to cope with all those needs and requirements. Just a sort of an aside question, and I don't know if this question is even going to work, but I'm going to toss it out to you. Is there a garment that, if money was no object, you would love it to be part of the Ruggedwear range? Your time starts now.
And it's ticking, yeah. So we really want a technical jacket, okay, that is, and we're looking for miracles, yes. We want a jacket that is durable. We want a jacket that is water resistant, a jacket that is not too heavy, a jacket that's got all the right pockets and all the bits and pieces that you need, and has got all the sort of technical detail that it needs. It's difficult in this country because we don't always have the skills to be able to manufacture that. Can import the jacket. I've got one lying in my office.
I know, so have I.
I don't want to import it. So we are working towards that.
Yeah.
Is watch the space. We will get it right.
Okay.
We will get it right. We will get it produced, but it's going to take a little bit of time. We maybe need 2 machines that we don't have, but we'll get down that line.
Those are beautiful jackets. If we're talking about the one that's made down under. Mine is hung in my cupboard for I don't know how long. I think I've worn it twice. I find it very heavy and very warm. So it's great.
So that's
midwinter, but for summer, you can't wear it at all.
Yeah, so we want to achieve all those characteristics, but it can't be a heavy, bulky jacket. So there's you've got to get the right fabrics and all of that. But
indeed,
we'll get it. We'll get it.
Indeed. All the range that we spoke about is currently available, will be through Christmas. But you mentioned that people can find it at co-ops and things like that. Here in Johannesburg, Cape Town, Pretoria, are there specific stores, or can they get hold of your shop in Nelspruit and say, where can I find them in, and then they can be told where to go?
So, David, what we have done on the website, and we're quite excited about the new sort of digital platforms that we're working on at the moment. So the website has had a revamp. It lists all our major resellers together with details for our offices in Nelspruit. There's also, by the end of November, there will be a brand new 20-page hard copy catalog, a digital catalog, and a 60-page catalog stroke storybook with images, lifestyle images. Our brand ambassadors are going to be in it. So we are working feverishly away at that, and that will all be ready by the end of the year, together with the brand new range of T-shirts. Launched, piqued your interest there. So all of that will be ready. They're in production as we speak, and I'm hoping to have the first one next week. And maybe the second one might find its way to London. So we'll see what we can do.
Howard, it's always been a pleasure chatting with you. People, you know what we haven't done? We've spoken about the digital platform, we've spoken about the catalogs, but what you haven't done is told the viewers what the www is.
Tell me.
What your web address is. The
correct. www.ruggedwear.co.za.
Sorry, I spoke over you. What time is it in White River?
It's very early in the morning, David. It's very early in the morning, and I've only had 1 cup of coffee. Yeah, so you can get on to www.ruggedwear.co.za, and all the info's there, and I've got a team of salespeople that will happily help you.
Great stuff. Howard, it's been wonderful chatting to you once again. My guest today on In Conversation With has been Howard Rogerson, who's the MD of Ruggedwear. Howard, you have yourself a wonderful day going forward, and I hope to be up your way in the not too distant future once again. I believe they're T-shirts with my name on it.
This is correct, and thank you for your time this morning, David. It's always a pleasure chatting to you, and thank you for your support of the brand. We appreciate it. Thank you. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you. Howard Rogerson, MD of Ruggedwear.